Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful ancient story. It's a parable all about family, anger, and something the text calls the surprising mathematics of karma. So, right at the heart of this story is a question that feels both ancient and, incredibly modern. Can a single wicked thought, just one, truly change a family's destiny forever? This parable answers that with a dramatic, and I mean resounding yes. Our story begins not with a bang, but with a poisonous whisper. The conflict doesn't start with a sword or a fight, but with a resentful thought just festering in the heart of a home. And in this household, we meet our three main characters. First, there's the enduring and patient mother-in-law. Then you've got her son, who's described as, foolish and pretty easily swayed. And finally, his wife, who is just defined by this constant, simmering anger towards her husband's mom. You see, the source material describes the wife's anger as way more than just frustration. It was this cloud that totally warped her judgment, a state the ancient texts literally call a temporary madness. And every single time her mother-in-law would correct her, that anger would just flare up, pushing her further and further down a really dark and dangerous path. And this is exactly where that madness led her. I mean, this wasn't some crime of passion. It was a cold, calculated plot. The wife just nurtured her resentment until it bloomed into this wicked idea. Her mother-in-law had to die. So she started poisoning her husband's mind, persuading and manipulating him until he actually agreed to commit this terrible, unthinkable act against his own mother. So now, this wicked plan is officially in motion, and it's leading us straight to the story's dramatic climax, what you could call a storm of karma. Following his wife's dark instructions to the letter, the son leads his own mother deep out into the wilderness. And there, he binds her hands and feet, getting ready for the ultimate betrayal. This is it. This is the point of no return. And just as he raises his hand to commit the act, everything just stops. Out of nowhere, a storm just appears. Dark clouds gather in an instant, and a single, massive bolt of lightning tears right through the sky. It's like the heavens themselves have decided to intervene. The consequence is so swift and so absolute. The lightning strikes the son, killing him instantly. But his mother, the one who was supposed to be the victim, she's left completely unharmed. The very attempt at this crime brought about the perpetrator's own end. But why? Why was the reaction so immediate and so severe? Well, the answer lies in the nature of what this text considers an unforgivable sin. So the mother, she manages to free herself and just walks home. And in the darkness, her daughter-in-law, who can't see who it is, eagerly asks, "Is she killed?" The mother-in-law's response is just chilling in its irony. Killed? He's dead. The next morning, the wife discovers the horrifying truth. Her wicked plan didn't destroy her enemy. It destroyed her husband. This whole thing leads us to a core concept from these teachings, the field of great power. The idea is that our parents are kind of like this incredibly fertile ground. Any seed you plant there, whether it's kindness or cruelty, it grows exponentially. Actions directed toward them for good or for ill are just massively magnified. And this principle of magnification, this is the key to the story's shocking outcome. We can really think of it as the multiplication effect. Okay, so according to this teaching, committing an evil act is one thing, but convincing another person to do it, whoa, that's a far, far graver sin. And the same thing is true for good. Performing a virtuous act is wonderful, right? But inspiring someone else to be virtuous, that carries even greater merit. In both cases, you basically become a multiplier. So when we look at the wife's actions, what we see is a truly catastrophic formula. She targeted a field of great power, her husband's mother, which on its own is already a grave sin. But then she multiplied that sin by instructing another person to carry it out. It was heavy karma multiplied by heavy karma, which resulted in that immediate and devastating consequence. But this story isn't just a warning. This powerful principle, it works both ways, and its positive application is probably the most profound lesson of all, planting seeds of good. And this is the really hopeful part of this teaching, isn't it? The karmic multiplier for goodness is just as powerful, maybe even more so. Inspiring others to be kind, to be generous, to honor their parents, these actions create these ripples of positive energy that multiply far, far beyond that one initial act. So, what can we take away from this ancient parable? Well, first, that our thoughts and actions have real consequences. It shows us that in certain relationships, like with our parents, those actions get amplified. We learn that influencing others is a huge responsibility because it multiplies the result. And finally, we see that the greatest power we have isn't just to do good, but to inspire good in the world around us. And that leaves us with a final thought. This ancient story, it's not just about a wicked wife. It's really a mirror for our own influence. It asks us to think about the whispers we start, the ideas we plant, and the actions we encourage in others. So the question to take away is this. If every single action you inspire multiplies, what are you sending out into the world